Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Scott from MuscularStrength.com, and today we're going to take a look at Henry Cavill's workout featured on the Men's Health YouTube channel that got him ready and continues to keep him functional and injury-free for his role as Geralt of Rivia in his new Netflix series, The Witcher. Now, this isn't an ad or anything, guys, but The Witcher does drop on Netflix December 20th, and I'm actually really excited to check it out. I've never read the books or had time to play the game, even though I wanted to, but always thought the story was interesting and right up my alley. But who knows? Maybe I'll actually enjoy the series more because I won't have a biased opinion about it because I played the game or read the books. But before we get started, obviously, make sure you tap that like button if you enjoy my content. And yes, I know you guys are waiting for my nuclei overload video on biceps, which I think I did have some pretty good results. Unfortunately, over Thanksgiving, my cat Logan, who's about 6 months old, decided to walk along the banister of my second floor, even though I told him many times not to do it, and he slipped and fell about 13 feet, landed on the edge of the bottom step of the staircase, and shattered his ankle at the base of his tibia. So that was pretty much my Thanksgiving weekend, and on top of that, my brother-in-law and his family are staying with us for the last few weeks, visiting from Brazil, so my time has been stretched quite thin, and I'm actually putting a lot of work into the nuclei video. It's not just going to be a before and after photo of me flexing my biceps. So as long as you have that notification bell on, you'll see it as soon as it drops, I promise. But now, back to Cavill's workout. Now I have to admit though, when I first saw this video pop up, I was instantly brought back to the bad memories of the Tom Ellis workout we covered and how terrible Tom's form was on a lot of his exercises because his trainer Paolo was, in my opinion, really not that great. But it wasn't Tom's fault. Tom's an actor, not a trainer, but we have to admit his hard work is definitely paying off, and I can only imagine how much better he would look if he tried my free guaranteed gains program. So what do you say, Tom? Just click the link in my pinned comment below and give it a shot. It's what I really desire. Oh, and I can't wait for season 5. It's coming real soon. Moving on from all of that. So I actually had a lot more hope for Henry's workout because I've been a fan of his since I first saw him on Immortals, which came out back in 2011, and I think that's a great place to start in terms of judging his current workout and strength coach, Dave Renzi. Cavill's body has changed a lot over the years, and with people questioning his natty status, seeing the changes in his body over the past 8 years will, in my opinion, put a lot of those rumors to rest. Cavill had a much leaner physique for Immortals, and his trainer at the time, Ricky Blanchard, focused a lot on endurance training, which made a lot of sense given the context of the movie due to all the action, right? So from what I was able to find online, the workouts themselves were based around functional, high-intensity moves with like Tabata-type intervals, and they also spent a lot of time focusing on prehab and rehab to avoid injuries from all the fight choreography and sword swinging and all the action that they were doing. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever swung a real sword before, but they're not light, and in order to make the action look real, these guys have to swing like as hard as they can and then like pull back at the last second, which causes a massive strain on the posterior chain, especially when you're repeating this all day, every day for like 6 months of shooting. And as for his diet, for Immortals, Cavill had to stay incredibly lean for all 6 months of filming, so Ricky would actually carb cycle his weekly diet. So, for example, he would have 1 to 2 days of a low-carb diet and then would raise the carbs for a day to replenish his glycogen stores due to all the action and choreography, which definitely worked, but I'm sure that was like absolute hell for those of you who've tried diets like this before. Guys, like when you're depleted like this all the time and working outside in the elements, you're always tired and it's super easy to get sick and extremely hard to keep your pump to look your best. And I actually read that Ricky would walk around the set with resistance bands dangling off him so actors could get a quick pump and a warm-up before filming their action scenes. But if I'm being 100% honest, Cavill was lean for Immortals, but I don't think he needed to go through such extremes to maintain the leanness he had. Like, he was lean, but not shredded, you know? I feel like with the right macro ratios, workouts, and cardio, he should have been able to eat a comfortable diet and maintain a full look the entire time. If anything, his muscles, in my opinion, looked a bit flat in some scenes and full in others. Probably because he was on such a calorie-restricted diet and all the carb cycling he was doing. But then again, I don't know Henry personally, and since becoming Superman, it almost looks like his body naturally maintains a bulkier look. It's just his genetics. So maybe he had to go through such extremes to lower his body fat and keep it there for 6 months of filming. But all that changed when Cavill got ready for Superman. In the months leading up to filming, his trainer Mark Twight had him eating like 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day and training with more of a powerlifting workout routine, basically lifting as heavy as he could to try to pack on as much muscle as possible. And I believe at the time his stats were like he was 6'1" at around 186 to 190 pounds, and his workout consisted of 2-a-days where in the morning, he would complete more of a circuit-style workout, and then in the afternoon would be the actual heavy lifting. I'll link to the workout for you guys to check out from superherojack.com in my pinned comment below if you want to see the actual workouts. But then what happened was, as they were approaching filming, from what I understand, Twight kept Cavill on the same workout schedule, but then cut his calories in half, so closer to like 3,000. That way he could start burning through his body fat to look bulky in the Superman suit, and then eventually get ready for his shirtless scenes where he needed to be a bit leaner. But what does all this really mean, and how does this apply to his Witcher workout? Well, to me, it says that Cavill has been able to ascertain a ton of knowledge when it comes to diet and exercise, and I wanted to showcase that because his Men's Health workout is just like a glimpse of some of the training he's doing specifically for his role as Geralt, which I think is much more interesting than seeing like his push-pull legs routine or his full body split. Like, these are programs that we already know how to do. Like, show me something different, right? So Cavill has already built up his physique for Superman and is still quite bulky now. So what did he do specifically to prepare and maintain his body for the duration of filming The Witcher? Well, jumping right in, Cavill's new trainer and strength coach is Dave Renzi, who used to train The Rock and help The Rock prepare for movies like Pain and Gain and Hercules. So right out of the gate, it looks like this is going to be a good workout, and Cavill starts off by talking about how his training needed to focus on supporting his stunt work, which I think is super important. Remember, Cavill has experience working with swords and stunt work from other movies like The Immortals, so he knows what he's in for, and he's also about 20 pounds bigger now. And one exercise they discuss right away is the Romanian deadlift, and Renzi explains that he's having Cavill perform 4-second negatives with a 2-second hold at the bottom, and then flexing his glutes as high as he can at the top of every single repetition. This way, they can continue to strengthen his posterior chain without straining his nervous system or adrenals. Also, guys, one thing I want to mention really quick is that I'm really happy that they're incorporating pop-up tips in this video this time. Something I mentioned that was definitely missing in the Tom Ellis workout video. I mean, who knows? Maybe they watched mine and they were like, yeah, we dropped the ball on that one. But the next exercise moving along is the hyperextension on the glute ham raise machine. Once again, focusing on posterior chain and contracting the glutes on every rep. And Renza even briefly mentions that Cavill has his hands behind his head to engage the spinal erectors a bit more during the movement, which I thought was a great tip to add in. After that, they move into core training, and the first exercise is an oblique static hold, which is something that most of us probably wouldn't really incorporate into our training unless specifically trying to strengthen the core, and your options are kind of limited. But it applies to Cavill because he's simulating holding his sword outright. He starts the movement by holding his arms out like this for 30 seconds, which places a massive load on the abs and obliques, and then pumps his arms out and in for reps. Now, as I'm sure you guys can guess, holding a sword all day can also greatly fatigue your shoulders, so another movement Renza has Cavill focus on is a variation of a shoulder raise that primarily targets the middle and interior deltoids in one movement. In fact, Cavill actually talks about something I mentioned earlier, where you need to have the strength to not only swing the sword as hard as you can, but pull it back at the last second.
When you're film fighting, you're not going through for kill strikes. You're pulling the blow at the last second, but you have to keep that speed up between the striking moment and the stopping moment to make it look realistic.
And then for the last exercise, we see something familiar. Our boy Paolo had Tom Ellis doing the same half iso alternating dumbbell curl against the wall to build big biceps, right? You guys remember that. And I tore him apart for it. But that's not the case here. Cavill is performing the movement not against the wall, and it's for a few different reasons. Again, his trainer Renza really wants to make sure that Cavill's posterior chain is as strong as possible and that he can hold and swing a sword all day long. So by performing the half iso alternating dumbbell curl the way he is, having to hold the dumbbell halfway up is going to require Cavill to flex his core and glutes as hard as he can to remain upright, and he's going to build up the endurance he needs in his grip, forearms, and biceps, which is something you definitely need when sword fighting. Cavill also talks about how this helps him with horse riding as well, which I have zero experience with. Well, actually, I fell off a horse once when I was a kid. Actually, I would love to try horse riding again. But anyways, he talks about how important his forearm and grip strength is to heave or pull back on the reins of a horse when it's especially a horse that's super strong and kicks a lot. And then Cavill ends the video talking about how the exercises shown were a selection from his workout, not a full workout, which we discussed earlier. And guys, I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. You have to realize that someone like Henry Cavill has already built up his body over the last 8 years, and what he has achieved can easily be done naturally. The newbie gains phase is way over, his muscles have matured, he's built up his strength to an above average level, and for him as an actor, his focus primarily is going to be most likely keeping the bulkier look that he has in this video. Then, I mean, if he has a shirtless scene coming up, I'm sure he'll be given plenty of time to diet down and prepare for it, and from the looks of things, knows exactly what to do based on prior experience. I guess it sounds like I'm fanboying here, and while I am a fan, I just think it's great to see an actor who doesn't just let his trainer, put him through the motions. Cavill understands that he needs to be able to act with explosive movements and have absolute control over his weapons, and because he understands his workouts and why he's doing what he's doing, that's going to make his confidence on screen that much better. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, tap that notification bell so you never miss a new video upload from me. Oh, and smash that like button as well. And guys, my invitation to try guaranteed gains for free wasn't just for Tom. Each and every one of you can download it for free by clicking the link in my pinned comment below. The program is an upper-lower split consisting of 4 workouts spread out throughout the week, and I built the program so you can perform all the exercises that pretty much any gym, even Planet Fitness. But for those of you with even more limited equipment, you can always post in my forums, and I'll do my best to give you alternate exercises. And as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys.